Ladies and gentlemen, meet my writing team.
We are the Tiger Cubs from Pack 65 in St. Carlos.
And we're welcoming you to Quiz Kids.
It's the Bay Area Quiz Kids. Brought to you by the San Mateo Credit Union. And now, the best host on the West Coast, Brad Friedman.
Thank you so much. Welcome to another game of Quiz Kids. We have 4 great teams today. Let me introduce the first 2. First, over here, we have the Carlmont Scots. And they are taking on the San Mateo High School Bearcats. We have 5 women on this team. This is rare, and I love this. So, ladies and Rick, welcome. Let's start with your first toss-up question. In 1859, 6 years before he gained worldwide notoriety, what actor joined a Shakespearean stock company in Richmond, Virginia? Cindy.
John Wilkes Booth.
That is correct, for 25 points. Given what Booth is most famous for, it's probably easy to guess what his favorite Shakespearean character was. Which Roman was that? The answer is Brutus. Brutus. All right, here's your next toss-up question. This tissue contains long cells called tracheids. What's this tissue that transports water through plants? Casey.
Cellulose.
No, I'm sorry. San Mateo, you can collaborate and steal those points if you know.
I don't know.
Phloem? No, it's xylem. Xylem. Okay, here's your next toss-up. A single death is a tragedy. A million is a statistic. Are the infamous words of what Soviet leader? Casey.
Joseph Stalin.
That is right, for 25 points. What did Stalin and his detractors call the campaigns of repression and persecution from 1936 through 1938?
Gulags?
They were called purges. Purges. Let's take a break and meet our teams. Let's go over to Carlmont here. And Becky Armstrong, you're a junior.
Yes.
And you are a big musician. You've been a musician all your life. What do you play?
I play trumpet.
In a band at school?
I play in the symphonic band.
Oh, that's great. And are you guys got anything playing shortly or?
We're going to be going to a CMEA festival pretty soon.
Okay, fantastic. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Sophie Haddad, you're also a musician, a jazz musician. What do you play?
Yeah, I play saxophone. I play 3 different saxophones, alto, soprano, and tenor.
And not only do you play at school, but you're starting to get some private gigs, huh?
Yeah, I play at a little restaurant in downtown Redwood City called Angelica's.
Well, we'll have to check you out. Good for you. Casey Armstrong. You know, when I was interviewing, I think most people can see, if we pull back, that you are twins. Everything I asked Becky, you had the same answer. So I guess that's sort of a twin thing. What's it like being a twin?
It's really fun.
Woo!
But also a little annoying at times.
Kind of like having any sister, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the same. Okay. Well, good luck to you guys. Let's meet the San Mateo team. Cindy Zhang, you are a 10th grader and a member of your school's math team, and you're hosting a competition for future high school math team people, huh?
That is correct. We're hosting the first ever Mateo-matics. It'll be on March 20th, and we're just hosting local middle schools.
Fantastic to build that love of math amongst the middle schoolers, huh?
Yeah.
Good luck to you there. Rick Dye, you're a senior and the president of your Model UN club. Anything important coming up with Model UN?
So we're having a Model UN competition later this week.
Uh-huh.
It'll be at Berkeley, and we're very excited about it. We have really good countries, really good positions. Yeah.
Fantastic. I hope it works very well. You solve some world problems. Maybe send those answers to the UN or to Congress or whatever, okay? Sandra Kung, you're also a senior. Last summer you went to France for the first time. Through your French class?
Yeah.
And what did you do?
I stayed with a host family in Beauvais, which is a small town, and I got to visit their school and also just go sightseeing.
Did you try to speak only French while you were there?
Yeah,
Pretty
like everyone
successful?
in Beauvais just speaks French, so I really felt like a local while I was there.
Fantastic. Good for you. Well, good luck to you as well. Let's get back to the next toss-up question. In a speech, he declared that the great questions of the day can only be resolved by Iron and Blood. Who was this Iron Chancellor? Yes,
Otto
Casey.
von Bismarck.
That is right. For 25 points, Bismarck initiated the Franco-Prussian War, which led to the defeat of which French ruler captured at the Battle of Sedan?
Napoleon III.
That is right. For 50 points, the Franco-Prussian War began after Bismarck released a version of which document in which it appeared that French diplomat Vincent Benedetti had insulted Wilhelm I? And your answer?
A telegram.
No, it was the Ems dispatch. Here's your next toss-up. One of this state's mottos is Birthplace of Aviation Pioneers. Yes, Rick?
North Carolina.
No, that's not true. Now, I will finish the question, then you guys can possibly steal it. Which state's quarter design features the Wright Flyer and an astronaut? You can talk it over.
Ohio.
That is right. For 25 points, which Ohio Air Force base is home to the National Museum of the Air Force?
Dayton.
No, it's Wright-Patterson. Next toss-up. The characters in this work who stay at the Tabard Inn tell stories as they travel. Yes, Casey?
Canterbury Tales.
That is right. For 25 points, which English poet whose works include the House of Fame wrote the Canterbury Tales?
Geoffrey Chaucer.
Correct. And for 50 points, in which tale does Nicholas share a bed with Allison after he tricks her husband into sleeping in a tub hanging from the roof? Sophie? It is the Miller's Tale. Next toss-up. This city forms a metropolis with Kobe and Osaka. Until 1868, what city was the imperial capital of Japan? Yes, Rick?
Kyoto.
That is right. For 25 points, Kyoto is home to what video game company that scored a hit with the Wii?
Nintendo.
That is right. And for 50 points, Kyoto is home to 5 Hanamachi, famous as the home of what practitioners of traditional Japanese arts? Rick, your answer?
Rock gardens.
Geishas. Geishas are the practitioners of traditional Japanese arts. Next toss-up. In Indian mythology, what blue god is the personification? Becky?
Shiva.
No. Is the personification of the preserving power of the divine spirit. You can talk that over, you guys.
Vishnu.
That is right. For 25 points, Vishnu is the supreme god in the Vaishnavite tradition of what religion?
Hinduism.
That is correct. And for 50 points, although most Hindus live in and around the Indian subcontinent, 3.3 million Hindus live on what Indonesian island?
Bali.
You got 50 points. And that's the end of the first round. 70 for Carmont, 85 for San Mateo. Let's see who wins this match when we return. My writers are signaling that it's time to acknowledge the coaches for both teams. Thanks, Tigers. So let's give a big hand to, first from Carmont, Patricia Bronstein. And from San Mateo, Jared Wilkie. Thank you so much, coaches. All right, it's a close game. So in our final round, the point value of each clue will be only 30 points. And Carmont, you only need one clue to take the lead from San Mateo, okay? I have 3 categories, and I'll let the team that's behind pick first which category they want. And then you'll answer as many points as you can to get as big a lead as you can, all right? So Carmont, today's categories are the Grand Tour, Math Class, and You Can Quote Me. Which category would you like?
Grand Tour.
The Grand Tour, all right. Name the countries in which these World Heritage Sites are found. Okay? Where would you find Red Square?
Russia.
That's right. Where would you find the Tasmanian Wilderness?
Australia.
Correct. Where would you find Mammoth Cave National Park?
The United States.
That is right. Where would you find Machu Picchu?
Peru.
Peru.
That is right. Where would you find the heart of Neolithic Orkney?
England or Great Britain.
That is correct. Where would you find the Serengeti National Park? Sophie?
Egypt.
No, it's Tanzania. And finally, where would you find the necropolis of Thebes?
Greece.
No, that is Egypt. But you got 5 correct and you have 220 points. Okay, San Mateo, you need 5 correct answers to overtake Carmont and win the game, all right? Which category would you like? Math class or you can quote me?
Math class.
Math class, all right. You need to perform these mathematical computations, okay? I'll try and be as clear as I can because I'm not good at math. First, 300% of 30.
90.
That's right. 20% of 20.
4.
Correct. The mean of 6 and 16.
11.
That is correct. The sine, S-I-N-E, of 30 degrees.
1/2.
That's right. You need 1 correct answer to win the game. The square root of 169.
13.
You've won the game. Congratulations, San Mateo. Carmont, you played a great game, and we'll see both teams next week. Don't go away. We'll be back with 2 more teams in another match. Welcome back. So the third team for today's match thought we filmed in Hollywood. They're heading down south on the I-5. So we're very fortunate to welcome back the Carmont Scots. This time they'll be taking on the Menlo Atherton Bears. So welcome, Mason, Julian, Jasper. Let's get started right away with our first toss-up question. It was known as the dual monarchy and lasted from 1848 until 19... Sophie.
Austria-Hungary.
That is correct. For 25 points, what dynasty ruled the dual monarchy as well as the Austrian and Spanish empires?
The Habsburgs.
That is right. For 50 points, using Austria-Hungary as a model, William Gladstone proposed a dual monarchy between Great Britain and what then dependency?
Ireland.
You got 50 points. Here's your next toss-up. It holds an object in a circular orbit while always being directed toward the center of that orbit. Yes, Sophie?
Gravity.
No. M.A., what is this center-seeking force? You can talk it over if you need to.
Centripetal.
Centripetal force.
That is correct. For 25 points, for a body in uniform circular motion, centripetal force equals the square of what quantity times the body's mass over the circle's radius?
Velocity.
Velocity.
That is correct. And for 50 points, for a body in uniform circular motion, which vector quantity is the cross product of the body's position and linear momentum vectors?
Angular momentum.
Angular momentum.
You got 50 points. We are tied. Here's the next toss-up. It was Simeon I of Bulgaria, not some Russian monarch, who was the first to adopt what Slavic title? Mason.
The Great?
No. You can steal, Carmont.
Tsar.
That is right. For 25 points. His nickname would make you think twice about accepting an invitation to his palace. The first Russian Tsar was which Grand Prince of Moscow?
Ivan the Terrible.
You got it. And for 50 points, the term Tsar is a Slavic term derived from what Latin name?
Kaiser. Or Caesar.
No,
Caesar.
you said Kaiser. I have to go with Kaiser. It is Caesar. And let's take a break while we mull over Roman versus Slavic and talk to our teams. So the Carmont Scots. Becky Armstrong, we talked last time about you being a musician. You're also a dancer.
Yes, I do ballet.
For how long?
I've done ballet since I was 5. I do it 3 days a week now.
Have you been like in a Nutcracker ever?
I have done Nutcracker pretty
kind of
much
a rite
every
of passage for ballerinas.
Yeah.
Good for you. Sophie, in addition to so many other activities, you coach gymnastics.
Yes, I do. And I've been doing gymnastics since I was a toddler, but now I teach, and it's really great to give back and really inculcate something to for these children.
That's really something you
Passion.
loved too.
Yeah.
So good for you. And Casey, was it last summer that you guys went hiking? You guys like to go in the outdoors. Where'd you go?
We went to Grand Teton National Park and tried climbing up Grand Teton, which is the highest mountain in the national park.
How far'd you get?
We got to the upper saddle, which is not too far from the top, but it started hailing on us, so we had to turn
Yeah,
around.
but that
and go
was
back.
hail, so you did well, okay? You can't help the hail, right? Good for you guys. Let's say hi to the Menlo Atherton Bears and Mason Seymour. You're a junior, and you recently went to a book signing and met a famous person that you admire.
I met Glenn Greenwald, who was the first guy to report on Edward Snowden in the NSA. He actually won the Pulitzer Prize for that.
And after your book signing, did you come away with some feelings about his book or about...
Yeah, it was an incredible book, and it was it was great for me because it was actually on my 16th birthday.
Fantastic. It's nice to kind of celebrate the milestones with events like that. Julie Baylor, you're a musician as well, and you're going to be playing in the pit for MA's musical.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing clarinet for Bye Bye Birdie, and we're starting performances just next week.
Next week, well, break a leg to the actors, and don't break a reed or whatever to the musicians, and it's a great show, so have
I'll
fun.
try.
Jasper Fu, you're a sophomore, and you're also a fencer.
Yeah, I fenced at the Junior Olympics in Richmond last weekend.
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, we just had a question about Richmond, Virginia. So you were there, and how'd you do?
I did pretty well. I think I placed 110th out of 300.
So you parried when you should parry, and you thrusted where you should thrust.
Yes.
Good for you. Well, good luck, you guys. Let's get back to the game. Here's your next toss-up question. This legendary figure was the subject of an opera by Rossini. Name this Swiss folk hero who shot an apple off his masons.
William Tell.
That is right. For 25 points. Which German author wrote a play about William Tell and also wrote the poem Ode to Joy used in Beethoven's Ninth Symphony? Julie?
Anderson?
It was Schiller, Friedrich Schiller. Next toss-up. These features keep the weight of the roof from pushing the side walls outward. Very late Gothic cathedrals have what? Yes, Julie?
Buttresses.
May I? That's it. Do I need more? I do need more.
Flying buttresses?
That is correct. For 25 points, a barber there might tell you that the world's largest Gothic cathedral is located in what cultural and financial capital of southern Spain?
Madrid?
Well, the barber was the thing, the barber of Seville, so it was Seville, right. Here's the next toss-up. American emissary Nicholas Trist signed what treaty on February 2nd, 1848, that acquired parts of 7 states and ended the Mexican-American War? Julie?
Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo?
You're right. For 25 points. Additional territory was transferred from Mexico to the U.S. in what 1853 transaction?
Gadsden Purchase?
That is correct. For 50 points, the Gadsden Purchase was originally proposed to facilitate the construction of what route, later completed much further to the north?
The Transcontinental Railroad.
You got 50 points. Here's your next toss-up. In 1916, Patrick Pearse and Thomas MacDonagh were executed after an unsuccessful Irish rising that began the day after which Christian holiday? Julie?
Christmas?
No. You can steal.
That's not a Christian holiday. Easter.
That's right. There aren't that many, you know, so good guess. For 25 points, in 1973, a coalition led by Egypt and Syria attacked Israel on which Jewish Day of Atonement?
Passover?
The Jewish Day of Atonement is called Yom Kippur. In the next toss-up, in 1930, there were only 2 independent African nations. Which one was occupied by Italy in 1936? Casey.
Ethiopia.
That is right. For 25 points, at the time of the Italian occupation, who was emperor of Ethiopia? Sophie. Haile Selassie. That's the end of the round. It's close. Carmont with 95, Menlo Atherton with 120. We'll be right back to see who wins this match. We are back, and let's give a hand to the coaches for both teams. Once again, from Carmont, Patricia Bronstein. And from Menlo Atherton, Sue Caton. Thank you, coaches. All right, you guys. Once again, we find Carlmont just a little bit behind, so the point value of each clue is 30 points, and you just need one clue to take the lead. I will give you the names of the categories for today's match, and tell me which category you'd like to choose. Inventors, Measure Up, or Love, Love, Love.
We'll take love, love, love.
Love, love, love. Okay. So all of these questions have something to do with love. Here's the first one. He's the Roman god of love depicted with a bow and arrow.
Cupid.
That is right. It's the Shakespeare comedy where 4 men swear off women.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
No, it's Love's Labor's Lost. It's the NBA team for which Kevin Love plays.
Minnesota, the Timberwolves.
The Cleveland Cavaliers. It's chaste love, named for a Greek philosopher.
Aristotle.
The philosopher is Plato, and chaste love is platonic love. He was the president sworn in at Dallas's Love Field.
John F. Kennedy.
Lyndon Baines Johnson. It's the TV series where Jennifer Love Hewitt talked to spirits.
Supernatural.
Ghost Whisperer. And finally, it's the state where you'd find the toxic Love Canal neighborhood.
New York.
That is right. You've gotten 2 correct, 155. Menlo Atherton, you need 2 correct answers to win the game. And here is the choice of categories: Inventors or Measure Up.
Inventors.
Inventors. Who is commonly credited with the invention of the following things, okay? The single-wire electrical telegraph.
Morse.
Samuel Morse is right. If you get this correct, you win the game. The lightning rod.
Franklin.
You've won the game. Congratulations, MA. Thank you, teams, for coming. We will see you in future matches, and we will see all of you next week. Till then, bye-bye.